It's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll give you ILTV's positive highlights of the week. Get ready to smile because coming up, we'll tell you all about an organization that's helping over 2,500 at-risk youth a year in Israel. We'll give you a little Israeli sports history lesson, and how about electric scooters? They may be a quick and easy way to get to work, but how safe are they really? In Israel, there are over 300,000 youth at risk. The Shani House organization has been making an effort to change those numbers by providing homes to over 2,500 homeless and at-risk youth a year. I went to the Shani House located in Jaffa to learn more about their programs and meet some of the kids living there.
My childhood, I lived in Israel. It was a very hard childhood. It was an abused childhood, violence, sex abuse, a neglected childhood. I don't think I even remember one hug. I said thank you for my childhood, because if I didn't have the effect of this childhood, I couldn't have done and do what I do of being the founder of this organization.
The Shani House Association serves as an alternative family for homeless and at-risk youth from all sectors of the population, providing them physical, emotional, and educational needs in a family atmosphere. No matter their religion, race, gender, or nationality, the Shani House offers immediate shelter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
In the end of the army, I got pregnant, not something planned. I was a lonely soldier in Israel. You know, when you don't have a family, you call the lonely soldier. I rented an apartment in Neve Tzedek, Shabazi neighborhood in Tel Aviv. And what was the beginning of Shani House? It was the beginning of me seeking for a family. I found out that sometimes people that are not your family are more family than your own family. And I started by picking vegetables in the market in Tel Aviv from the streets and making food for, you know, homeless people in the streets.
In Israel, there are over 330,000 youth at risk. 14,000 of them living on the streets and in immediate danger. The Shani House is here to help change those alarmingly high numbers by providing over 116,000 hot meals every year. And in total, since its establishment back in 1984, have taken care of more than 54,000 youth in immediate danger.
היו לי כמה בעיות בבית, היו לי כמה דברים, היו לי כמה בעיות, הייתי ברחובות. ואז הגעתי לפה. הייתי בין 3 ל4 חודשים ברחוב.
Shani House developed to be what it is from the needs of the streets. The things that make Beta Shanti very, very different, that when you go inside, you already feel it. You don't feel that you came to an institution, you don't feel that you come to an hostel or a boarding school, you feel that you come to a home.
הדבר שאני הכי שמח זה שיש לי איפה לישון ואיפה לקום בבוקר, כי זה הבסיס. יש לי בית. יש לי בית שאני יכול לחזור אליו, אני יכול להזמין אליו חברים, אני יכול לספר על הבית שלי, יש מי שדואג לי, מי ששואל אותי איך אני מרגיש, וזה דברים שלא היו לי הרבה זמן.
It doesn't matter if you come for a few hours, or you're coming for a few months, or coming for a few years. You cannot be here if you don't want to be here. You cannot force anybody to get help if he doesn't seek for help or wants help. Most of the group of more than 2,000 children a year are coming only for a few hours, a few days, and we put them back home because they didn't really want to run away from home. This is children at risk. The other ones that live here from few months to few years are children in danger of life. They have no other choice. If they will not be here, there was sex abuse, violent abuse, neglected by the parents. 80% of the children that live long term, their parents don't want them.
אני לא בקשר עם ההורים שלי, בכלל. 3 שנים אני נמצא בשנתי. החלום שלי זה לעשות מוזיקה, וזה מה שאני הולך לעשות. אני מצפה שתהיה לי משפחה, שאני אהיה האבא הכי מושלם בעולם, שיהיו לי 2 ילדים, אישה, אולי איזה כלב 2, אבל גדולים, לא קטנים. בעצם כל מה שלא היה לי, יהיה לילדים שלי. אם אתם לא יכולים להיות בבית, או שקשה לכם בבית, תדעו שהדלתות פה תמיד פתוחות, ושאתם מוזמנים לקבל חיבוק חם. ממני במיוחד.
So the Israeli national baseball team has qualified for the upcoming 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, but this is definitely not the first time Israel's competed. So ILTV's Nittany Manson gave us a little sports history lesson.
Okay, so with Israel's national baseball team making the cut for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, we thought it was important to take a look back at Israel's other big Olympic moments. Israel's National Olympic Committee was established in 1933 under what was then the British Mandate of Palestine. But it wasn't until 1952 that an Israeli delegation actually competed in the Games. All right, now fast forward to 1992, Israel's 10th Games, and Yael Arad brings home the first medal for Israel. This was in judo, and it was followed by bronze the next day, won by Oren Smadja. And from that 1992 Games, the next 5 consecutive ones saw bronze medal wins for Israel, until 2012 when that particular streak ended. But during this bronze streak in 2004, Gal Friedman made all of Israel proud by winning the country's first, and so far only, gold medal in windsurfing. So to date, Israel holds 1 gold, 1 silver, and 7 bronze medals that they are extremely proud of. But why are all of Israel's medals in non-mainstream sports? Well, the fact that the country is so small compared to most other Olympic contenders means that individual sports are, let's face it, much more practical. And more than that, while we're on the topic of Israel's size, let's break that down a bit. At the last Summer Games in Rio, Israel sent 46 athletes. Now, the United States sent 558. While that may seem drastically larger, the population is 40 times larger than Israel, but the delegation is only 12 times larger. And Singapore, who's around the same size as Israel, sent 25 athletes. So for their size, Israel's 46, not too shabby. And it's no surprise that Israel has some high hopes for the upcoming 2020 Games in Tokyo. In addition to baseball, there's been a lot of talk surrounding Linoy Ashram, who will be competing in rhythmic gymnastics. And they're hinting that Sagi Muki, who just placed first in the Judo World Championship, could give the Holy Land its second gold medal. And bringing us back to baseball, the last time that Israel had a whole team participate in the Olympic Games was all the way back in 1976 for soccer. So having the national baseball team make the cut, well, it's a pretty big deal.
So as traffic continues to get worse in the city, more and more Israelis are turning to alternative, more eco-friendly modes of travel. But ILTV's Natasha Kirchuk recently took to the streets to see if the growing craze is worth the hype. Take a look.
There's a new trend taking over Tel Aviv, and there's no way to escape it. Electric scooters. Birds, Limes, Corky Nets, Hinokim. These are the brands that are responsible for changing public transportation for Israelis. Why wait for a bus that you can't be sure is going to arrive on time when you can just quickly rent an electric scooter and make it to your destination in much less time? There's no need to worry about parking. E-scooters are environmentally friendly, and some say they're reducing cars in the city because Israelis now have a faster alternative of traveling. But are e-scooters really worth it? From 2014 to 2018, 97 people have been killed in accidents involving electric scooters and bicycles. And hundreds more have been injured, with 15 people being sent to the hospital during the first 3 months of 2019 for scooter-related injuries. And since the beginning of 2019, 9,000 tickets have been issued to electric scooter and bike users. It's a $70 penalty if you're caught riding on the sidewalk. So here's our question. Is riding an electric scooter really worth it? Comment below.
Now, moving on to a more serious note. An Israeli company is now predicting that they can help eliminate the problem of landmines, which are threatening millions of people every day in just 10 years. ILTV's Aaron Porras has the story.
Explosive remains of war, or ERWs, landmines, unexploded anti-personnel ordnance. Call it what you like, but about a third of the planet lives in fear of these hidden terrors. In fact, at least 61 countries are still laden with ERWs, with over 110 million in the ground and another 110 million in stockpiles waiting to be destroyed, putting over 60 million people at risk. So it's estimated that every hour of every day, every year, nearly 5,000 people are killed and upwards of 20,000 more get terribly injured, most of whom are civilians and often children. So So what's being done? Because Israel is no stranger to landmines either, with around 1.2 million landmines laid during the 50s and 60s, contaminating over 50,000 acres of land across the Golan Heights, the Arava Valley, and along the Jordan River. Well, for one, Israel created the Mine Action Authority, which started clearing minefields in 2012, and a number of organizations have gotten involved, like the Halo Trust and Israel's 4M Analytics. But still, demining is dangerous and expensive work. It costs between $300 and $1,000 to remove a single mine, and for every 5,000 removed, one deminer is killed and 2 more are injured. Also, demining is a slow and painstaking process that at current rates would take up to 200 years and $100 billion to complete. So Israel's 4M Analytics has hopefully come up with an answer. Company co-founders Itzik Malka and Neil Cohen are former officers from the elite Yalom unit in the IDF's Combat Engineering Corps. And they say that they can bring the cost down to just $60 million and 10 years of work with their patented new system. Using automated programs and machine learning that integrates electromagnets, global and historical data, hyperspectral cameras, and more, 4M puts together a highly targeted map of where the landmines may still lie, and then using only robots, the company actually clears the field. And in 3 pilots back in Israel, the company was met with 100% success rates, giving them the go-ahead to export the technology abroad. Finally, though, while this process is unique, robots aren't. So you might be asking yourself why manual labor is still used in 90% of demining cases. Well, unfortunately, it turns out that using real locals to demine for the sake of photo opportunities helps raise empathy and therefore donations to the cause.
Up next, in case you didn't know, because I sure didn't, the Denisovan is a relative of the human that is believed to have lived in Siberia and East Asia until about 50,000 years ago. Today, researchers from Hebrew University in Jerusalem have used a 3D printer to make a model of a female Denisovan. But how were they able to pull this off? ILTV's Shani House has the story.
It took 3 years of intense research using DNA extracted from a pinky bone found in a cave in Siberia. Evidence of Denisovans was found for the first time in 2008. Archaeologists dug up 3 teeth, a pinky bone, and a lower jawbone. The reason for the extinction of these early people is actually unknown. Researchers compared DNA patterns between Neanderthals, early humans, which is the group that has the closest anatomy to modern humans, and Denisovans to find the molecule that sets that group apart. The biggest differences between these groups are mostly in the shape of the skull.
First, we are all very much similar. So sometimes I ask myself if I would have walked in the street and there was a Denisovan walking there which is shaved and his hair is cut and everything, would I look twice? And I'm not so sure. Maybe yes, but they are very similar to us. And I would say that they are more similar to Neanderthals in many ways. For example, they have a slanted forehead, a lower cranium, a more projecting face, things like this. And we have been especially interested in the ways that they look unique. For example, they have very wide skulls, very long dental arch, things like this.
The findings lend to the larger investigation, which examines what separates humans from other earlier species, as well as what characteristics they had that helped them survive and adapt to their environment. 6% of present-day Australians and other people from the oceanic region have Denisovan DNA. It is also thought that this type of DNA explains how modern Tibetans can live in high altitudes and how Inuits can handle freezing cold weather.
Nowadays, we are inevitably part of a sharing economy. We share our cars on apps like Uber and Lyft and our homes on Airbnb. So it's only natural that we share our pools, no? Well, one Israeli American definitely thought so and is making headlines for his groundbreaking new app, literally. And ILTV's Natasha Kirchuk has the details.
We've all had it before. That neighbor next door with a perfect backyard, complete with a private pool, jacuzzi, and all those fancy giant swan floats that are just made for the perfect Instagram photo. Haven't you wanted to just dive in for a dip, especially since it seems to be that pool that always sits there without any visitors? Well, that's exactly what 22-year-old Israeli Bunim Laskin thought when he decided to launch Swimply, an app that allows people to rent out their underutilized private pools to locals who are in search of them. He came up with the idea when he moved from Israel to New Jersey when he was 15 years old. His next-door neighbor had built a pool for her grandkids, but Laskin noticed that it was empty most of the time, and he wished that he and his 11 siblings could take a dip. Soon enough, the entire neighborhood was using her pool as long as they paid her a fee, bringing the community closer and inspiring Bunim's first startup. Using his bar mitzvah money and good old Google Earth, the teen identified 80 people in his area who had private pools, and he then went door to door to see if they would be willing to rent them out. This is Swimply, Bunim's groundbreaking app that has over 17,000 users who can rent out over 2,000 pools. Swimmers pay a booking fee to the app, and Swimply also takes a cut of the rental from pool owners. Now, it may seem uncomfortable to rent out somebody else's pool, but hey, today we rent out rides in other people's cars on Uber, we rent out other people's homes on Airbnb, and we even rent out other people's parking spaces on apps like Just Park. A shared economy is becoming the norm, so why not democratize luxury? I know I'd prefer renting a private pool than just going to a public one.
And now on to a topic Israelis love to talk about, real estate. Whybox is a real estate firm focusing on unique architecture with a young and dynamic design. Let's hear why they believe that the future of Israel is actually just outside the city of Tel Aviv. If you haven't heard of it by now, Bat Yam is a colorful city that's located just south of Tel Aviv, and some say it's Israel's next big thing. The city of Bat Yam has some of the most beautiful beaches in all of Israel, delicious food, and has plenty of activities in the city and around. Let's go and meet some experts that really know this city up close.
תושבי חוץ מסתכלים על הנדל"ן בישראל בצורה יותר נקייה מהישראלים. אז יש להם גישה יותר נכונה לנדל"ן, הם מבינים, הם מצליחים להבין ולאתר אזורים שהישראלים עוד לא מבינים את הפוטנציאל בהם. הניסיון שלו מלמד שאזורים שלאו דווקא נראים כל כך מושכים היום יכולים להיות מאוד אטרקטיביים מחר.
Whybox is a development firm focusing around unique architecture with a young and dynamic design. I want to know how the future of Israel is actually located right outside the city of Tel Aviv. Yuda and his brother Yaakov established Whybox back in 2005, and what started as a small family real estate business has now blossomed into a leading company that specializes in the development of building projects in up-and-coming locations, from Florentine to Neve Tzedek, and now their next focus is on the Bat Yam Lighthouse.
We're here in the Lighthouse building on the 36th floor, where you can see that efforts are being made to complete the construction. Behind me, you can see the incredible view, southwest facing beach views of the Bat Yam shoreline.
אנחנו מגיעים לבת ים עם מגדל מאוד מושקע, עם מגדל בסטנדרט תל אביבי. חוף ים וקרבה לתל אביב זה עניין של שנים עד שהמחירים שם יתאפסו גבוה.
Why did you guys decide to step out of Tel Aviv and start developing in the city of Bat Yam?
Proximity from Tel Aviv to Bat Yam was recognized. There's a lot of potential there because if somebody can't afford to be right in the heart of Tel Aviv, there's an option that's very close by of Bat Yam.
The Lighthouse is Whybox's flagship building with 46 floors and 119 apartments. It also happens to be just 500 meters from the sea and across the road from a new hotel with a rooftop pool that's open to the Lighthouse tenants.
The Lighthouse project is truly an iconic project. It's 46 stories building, all built from gold glass. So it's extremely striking and incredibly outstanding in the area. There's nothing else like it there.
And best of all, by 2021, the new Tel Aviv light rail will connect Bat Yam to all of the commercial and industrial areas in Tel Aviv, along with the other cities surrounding it. This is Bat Yam, and this is the Lighthouse, a spotlight onto this up-and-coming gem.
With a unique concept and a unique presentation and unique architecture that stands out from all the surroundings.
Almost every Israeli has been impacted by a terror attack or knows someone who has been in one. And now the incredible organization One Family Together, which supports victims of terror in the Holy Land, is working on a special campaign to make sure that terror doesn't win. They've just released a powerful music video of terror victims and survivors performing the hit song Aluf Ha'olam, or Champion of the World, with the famous Israeli singer Hanan Ben-Ari. Take a look and grab a tissue.
אני אלוף העולם בלהדחיק כל מה שמפחיד אותי, כל מה שמלחיץ אני משתיק.
אני אלוף העולם בלאהוב קודם את עצמי, אחר כך בבמה וברחוב הכי קשה לתת למישהו קרוב. אני אלוף העולם בלא להיות, בלא לפתור לך את הבעיות.
אפילו התמונות שבקירות, זה לא אני תליתי, אני אחראי רק על המנגינות.
אני אלוף העולם בליפול ולקום כמו גדול, אדירי כמו חול. אני נשרף אבל בוחר בכל יום להמשיך לחיות. אני אלוף העולם בלרצות לפחות לנסות, אדירי איך בסוף אחרי ההפסדים הניצחון הרבה יותר מתוק. אני אלוף העולם.
אני אלוף העולם בלהצדיק
חולשות ותאוות, היצר הוא מכר ותיק, מכיר כל טריק עתיק שהוא
All right, that's
מחזיק
all for this
בתיק.
week's episode of Good Week Israel. Hope you're ready and in a good mood. See you next week.